Good afternoon, guys. It's Saturday, July 30th. My name is Dave Coker, and this is Talking About Finance. Okay, the night is young, so let's open by looking at the past week. We're going to look at the S&P 500, and oh boy, the U.S. is in recession, so we're going to buy stocks. Actually, it's the Fed rate hike that did wonders, because in their statement, they sort of clarified the future path of interest rates. And if you check out on Medium, I've written a story based upon some research I do for banks. We sort of know where interest rates are going to traverse to, or we got a better idea than we did before the most recent Fed meeting. It was really, really up in the air. So on this news, we've clarified things. The market's bounced, right? And it's interesting, guys, when you start to think about this. Why did the markets bounce on the bad news that the U.S. is in recession and interest rates went up? Well, it's not because we who invest in stocks are a bunch of psychos. It's because the markets look 6 to 12 months ahead. So they're looking past the current situation. They're looking past the U.S. in recession. They're looking past inflation at 40-year highs. They're looking past war in Europe. None of this matters to the markets right now because they look to the future. And short of a black swan event, we're all going to be making some money, and hopefully you invested. Remember, I invested constantly every month during this whole situation. I've been buying stocks, and of course we'll talk about Bitcoin and stuff like that. So the S&P was up 4.3% on the week. Now it's only down 13.3% year to date. Things are looking better. Who knows? Maybe we can finish the year in green. I'm keeping the faith. The VIX traded down slightly, closed at 21.33. It opened at 23.09. Things are looking good here as well. The 10-year note closed down this week at 2.66. It's up 1.1% year to date. The 10-year note is falling because the market anticipates rate cuts perhaps as early as Q1 2023. This is sort of an issue. Why is the 10-year note yield falling when interest rates are rising? It's because, again, markets look ahead. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. Oil closed the week at 98.08. It's up about 3.6% week on week, up about 30.4% year to date. And again, I will not apologize for being so damn boring. Yesterday was Friday. So in the morning I bought Bitcoin. The day before Friday was Thursday. I bought Ripple, as one does on a Thursday evening. Now, I'm almost done building up my position in Ripple. I consider that very speculative compared to Bitcoin. It all depends upon that U.S. court case. But if you pay attention to Ripple, the company behind Ripple, they're continually extending their technology and users of their technology. So we're going to see. I'm keeping the faith there. All the July dividends have been paid as of Friday. So Monday, when New York is trading, I'll use these funds to buy more dividend-paying stocks. Never buy shares or sell shares at the open. The best time to buy or sell shares is the last 15 minutes of the session. So what that means is around 8:45 London time, British summertime I should say, on Monday I'll go in and buy some stocks in New York, and we could talk another time about the reasons why. So that's it, guys. Boring is good when it comes to investing. Just keep in mind that if you do this too, you too can multiply your wealth. It's times like this when almost everybody is scared, everybody's timid, everybody's afraid to invest, that fortunes are made. Pile the money in. Whatever you can spare, put it in. Keep in mind, guys, I mentioned it last week, money is flat because it's meant to be piled high. And I'm stacking it up in the markets. Hopefully you're doing the same. Let's move into a little bit more detail. Now, Mr. Biden has your economics lesson here. He's trying to redefine what a recession is. And this really cracked everybody up when they came out with this statement that they no longer consider 2 consecutive quarters of falling GDP to count as a recession. And in fact, they say economists don't consider it that way either. Well, guess what? I'm not really an economist, but I am a top-rated writer in economics on Medium. No. It's undergraduate, even high school textbook stuff, that 2 consecutive quarters of GDP falling, declining GDP, it's a recession. It doesn't really matter, guys, if you still have ample job growth and stuff like that. It is a recession. I bet his attempt to redefine recession has more to do with this than anything else. Here are the polls for presidents since Eisenhower, the approval rating, I should say, and you can see Mr. Biden is bottom of the list, literally. both in terms of position, right after Trump and right after Obama, but also in terms of average approval rating. He is the worst. It's too bad. We all had a lot of hope for Mr. Biden, but he had a tough job. Now, another thing that we have to think about, guys, is I know what you're thinking. You may have gotten a hefty raise, but look, you still feel poor, and this is why. What we're doing is we're looking at real wages. We're not looking at nominal or stated wages. And of course, when we take a look at any metrics that have been adjusted for inflation, that are called real, that means they've been adjusted for inflation. And we can see from Q2 2014 to Q2 2020, an average increase of 3.2% per year since Q2 2020 up to the present, a drop of 4.5% per year. Once again, guys, when you see stuff like this, it's right off the research that I sell banks. And if you were buying my research at a bank, there's about another 1,000 words or so that go behind this. But you get the gist of what I'm saying here. And this is Mr. Biden's defense for why 2 consecutive quarters of falling GDP doesn't count as a recession. Well, guess what? It does. But still, we do see ample job openings. It's really fascinating when you look. Leisure and hospitality has the most. Finance and insurance has a healthy number as well. These are jobs that a lot of companies are having difficulty finding people to fill. Remember, in the States, we're going through, the boomers are retiring. Some 18,000 plus every day are leaving the labor force, and they're having difficulty replacing these people. It's really fascinating when you look at this. And once again, this is a really puzzling one. It could be puzzling, but I'm going to explain why it isn't. Interest rates are going up, yes, but when you look at the yield on the 10-year note, and it's an extremely important instrument because in the States, all sorts of consumer debt is tied to the 10-year note. Mortgages, credit cards, car loans, things like that. The yield on the 10-year note is falling. Oh my God, I just noticed they spelled yield wrong. Doesn't matter, right? We see that the yield is falling. Why? Because once again, guys, markets look ahead. And they're anticipating rate cuts in the future. Probably could be Q4 of this year. I tend to fall into the camp of Q1 2023. And this market is very odd, and it's cost a lot of people a lot of money, and even professionals are having trouble with it. Calpers, of course, is the California Public Employees Retirement System. It is huge. Every public employee, everyone in California, so we're talking about nurses, police officers, firefighters, it goes on and on. Every one of them is a member. They've got a huge amount of money, and we'd like to look at Calpers to see what they're up to. They're losing money. So if you're losing money, shame on you. You should just be buying and investing for dividends, and then you don't really care. Because for people like me, cash flow investors, dividend investors, bear markets are an illusion. They really don't exist. The dividends always get paid. And we had this phenomena during the pandemic, or post-pandemic, actually, after we initially went into lockdown, of pandemic stocks, and they boomed. Well, look, they're going the other way now. So yeah, I would say pandemic stocks are done. Oh, check this out. We were in London today. I went up just to wander around, look at the freaks, look at art. Interesting, we stopped at a Peloton shop. My God, who in God's name buys that crap? First of all, the treadmill that we were looking at cost almost 5,000 pounds. That's a hefty amount of money, but it comes with a bill. And they want 39 pounds a month for a 38-month contract. Oh, and there's some other fees that weren't disclosed. They just said, yeah, there's extra fees, and they're called Peloton, blah, 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 blah. And what the hell it was, right? My God, what an overpriced piece of garbage. I'm not surprised to see the stocks almost wiped out. It's really wild. Here's an interesting one, guys, when we start to talk about Bitcoin. And I do always advise people, when you buy Bitcoin like I do every week, get your coins off that exchange. Don't let them sit there. Binance raised a lot of eyebrows last week when they started telling people that when you want to pull money out, now you have to disclose your wealth. And the thing that's really interesting is your entire body of wealth. What in God's name does that mean? You know, I'm pretty squirrely with the money. I've got stuff stashed all over the place. A few safe deposit boxes. Don't go digging in my backyard. There's no bodies, but yeah, we will talk about it. But in any case, what does that mean, your entire body of wealth? Not so sure about this, guys. It's really troublesome. Don't fall into that trap of buying coins on an exchange and then for convenience or security, leaving them up there on the exchange. I don't know. Maybe they're having money trouble. They're trying to slow down withdrawals for some stupid reason. And it has nothing to do with government requirements. It totally has to do with Binance and what may appear, or what may turn out to be, I should say, their shaky financial situation. And finally, guys, an interesting chart from XR Strategy. This gentleman or gal, I'm not sure who it is, I don't really care, they've tracked out what they call Bitcoin's fifth bull market. And when you take a look, they've done a very good job about tracking the prior runs. And you can see these correspond with the halvings that we've had. And it's interesting when you look that every cycle consists of 3 mini cycles. Then we have a big push up, and then it drops before we start the next push up. Really fascinating work here. I don't really want to look at the numbers too much, the 175. Be nice if it happens, don't really care. I'm quite happy with Bitcoin where it is. Oh yeah, and every now and then somebody asks me, they seem to point out, and it's always a no-coiner who points out all the money you lost because it was at 65 and you didn't sell. No, dude, or dudette. I'm not going to tell you when. I've been buying Bitcoin a long time, many years, and yeah, you see to the left, to the left, to the left, keep going, to the left, to the left, to the left, yeah. I haven't lost any money. You don't know where my basis is. Sure, I did buy Bitcoin back when it was priced at 65 or so. I don't care, because the bulk of my Bitcoin is priced well below 65. It's called dollar cost averaging, and it works. And you should try it too. Don't try to time the markets, guys. Just buy and buy regularly. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Once again, keep the faith. Invest your money in the markets. Don't put a lot of money into crypto. Definitely have some money in crypto. Have some money in gold and silver. Stocks are where you want to be. Once again, I'm ancient, but I'm still fully invested. I'm not moving anything to cash. I have no intention of changing my style. Fully invested until I die. Just the way I'm going to play it. Have a great week, guys. You're going to make buckets of money. Take care.